It's 5:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to start by acknowledging that this meeting is respectfully held on the traditional territory of the Sycus First Nation, whose land we live, work, and play. We have an agenda circulated. I would like to add two items. 6.8 is sturgeon release, and 9.1 is the BC Community Forest Association Director nomination. Would somebody like to move that we adopt the agenda as amended?
Move as amended.
Seconder? All in favor? That's carried. We have the minutes from the May 11th meeting. Somebody like to move adoption? Second. All in favor? And that's carried. So now we'll move down to delegations. 5.1, Work BC first quarter report. I'll hand it over to you, Ash. Just one second, we'll get your mic. There we go. Now we're...
Yes. Thank you for the fantastic partnership between District of Vanderhoof, Work BC, also Chamber as well. We were working on something from last January, this year January, and we were able to hear today that we're going to get the funding for the heavy equipment training for 20 seats. And then I think Shelley will inform about the safety training as well. So it was a great partnership. I think we're looking forward for this. This is something we got for our community. Being very selfish, that's great. We just need to have some strong, sustainable employment opportunity, skill opportunity. That's great. So we're going to work on it. And we did the sessions, community expression of interest sessions, and we got 16, 17 individual. So that's good. We wanted to be very transparent, kind of open it out, and then a lot of people are still approaching Work BC by phone call or visiting. Now, the main reason why I'm here is I just did a quarterly report for the top career clusters based on the NOC code by our province. So as you can see in that list, we have two major ones. That's number 8 and number 8 and number 5. So number 5th is a social worker. In last quarter we saw 10 new job opportunities, and then number 8 was cooks. So those were the main one. Then the second one were number 3, which is registered nurses and registered psychiatric nurses, and also and then also the social and community service worker. So I just want to point out, there is a lot of those opportunities, social worker, social community service worker, or nurses. So these are all specialized jobs. These are not like a 6 months or 1 year certification. You need like a diploma thing. For social worker, it could be, if it's an entry level position, could be 1 year, but usually these are heavy skill job, and these are also our next target on to get the funding for these kind of skills training as well going forward. Then the next major one was number 7, which we had 8 jobs as a food service supervisor, again very popular between the fast food and the restaurant industry. And then food counter attendants and kitchen helper, again very popular in the fast food and the retail industry, because the Four Rivers Co-op or Independent and other stores do have these positions as well. So, and then on number 5th, we have the human resources professional at number 1 here, that we had 6 jobs posted. They are in higher demand, and when we say human resource professional, there are HR assistant and other jobs as well that falls into the category. When we talked about, I missed the number 4, which was actually many of them. So if you look at the point number 2, which is electrical and engineers, point number 11, 12, and 13, other electrical mechanics, home childcare providers, and machine operators. These were also very high in demand job. So the number 13, machine operator, mineral and metal processing, it has some technical jobs too from the mine. It's not only the machine operators, but it had some technical job opportunities. So still, there is labor market is, if I can't say it's very hot, it's still in demand. There are new job opportunities in the market coming in, and then we're also expecting with the major projects starting this year or the end of next year, then we will see a lot of demand for trades include as low as cooks. There will be demand for all those projects. What we are focusing at WorkPC is getting our individuals from Vanderhoof and surrounding communities be ready for those skill jobs. And that's why we aimed for the safety training and heavy equipment training. The next one will work on ABT and social worker and those kind of things. Major employer, those who have posted the job postings are Tim Hortons, restaurants, District of Vanderhoof, YMCA, School District 91, Sycus First Nation. So those are Four River Co-op. Those are major employers they have posted. Yeah. So it's good for the first quarter. There were some new jobs. So it was good. Any questions?
Absolutely. And maybe before I hand it over to questions, I just want to say a quick thank you, Ash, for all your work on getting the grants organized and all the work with the employee engagement before to see what positions were open. Both from the province and from CNC, I've heard both that Vanderhoof is actually the example of how you go about this and get it done. And it's great to be in on that
Yes.
ground floor making it happen. And it was
Yeah.
a big effort, but worth every hour spent on that, right?
Right. Yeah. And we did it as a collaborative approach. So that was very good.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Questions? Hey, Councilor Martins.
Yeah, I was going to say thanks, Ash, too, for all that hard work. Did you say, I didn't catch everything, you have all these seats confirmed now, or you will have funding for those seats?
Mhm.
Is there any trouble filling those seats? Is it going to be?
We should not. So we just got the update.
Yep.
Like DOV is a successful candidate.
Yep.
So WorkBC is helping in kind of getting those individual clients and helping them with the application. We, as I said, we did an expression of interest and we got 15 plus individual on those 2 sessions. We have some of our, I think 3 to 4 clients that are also interested. So I think for the first batch of 10, because there will be 2 batches. First will start on 15th of June. Still not fixed date. It could be 15, 16, whatever. But and then the second batch will start in August. So for second batch, because since we did these engagement in Fort St. James and Vanderhoof, we will also be marketing it in Fort St. James and see if we could get some candidates from that area. So I do not think it'll be a challenge. The first one, we have 17 individuals who are interested. Now we need to check their eligibility and all that. And then we'll get more too, because we were very careful in how we are marketing it because it was still not approved. So we want to be very careful. So now we can market it aggressively. And so
No, that's great. And I think once the first one gets started, it's great to hear that you're starting here within, 3 weeks kind of.
yeah. So
That's a nice early start to get it going. And once that's running, that'll probably generate even more interest for the second batch as
Yeah.
well. So,
and friends and family, word gets out and
good. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Councilor Vandola.
Yeah, thanks. So just looking at the list there, and I see, social workers, 10 jobs. That's in my years working with government, those social worker positions need like master degrees in social work in a lot of cases. And I always found that those are super difficult positions to recruit and retain. And have we had quite a bit of interest in those positions, or are there applications coming in, people looking for those jobs?
I think a lot of people, since the mills are shut down, a lot of individuals are also exploring that option. If you see, so social worker is number 5 on that sheet, and number 6 is social and community service worker.
Yeah.
So these are very, there is a lot of jobs that are being added into these small law codes.
Oh,
So they are very diverse categories. It could be entry level and manager in both of these too, but it's been in a high demand, like top 3 from last year or 2 easily. Like all at Connexus, Sycus, Career Sakani, all these individual organizations, they have very high demand in this.
Right.
And that's why like 3 of our next training that we're focusing on, ABT, social worker, and nurses. These are the 3 next that we're going to try to see if we can get the funding and can we get it done at CNC campus here locally, or something can be done about that training.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilor Lozay.
Thanks, Ash. I'm just a little bit curious about the training because, as Councillor Van Dola said, that social workers, that requires a number of years of post-secondary. And so, what are you envisioning as a program to offer through CNC to meet this demand? Like, I'm just curious.
So this has talked about in brief in
Yeah.
our meeting at CNC. But we have not explored this program or this route in a detail so far because
okay.
of there are different categories,
Right.
like different position, and some of those position, those even if you have those 2 years of diploma, you don't get a job right away. They require experience too. So
Right.
like we need to figure out which one can we offer, which can be done within 52 weeks, within a year,
Right.
and can be done locally here, because like even for this heavy equipment operator, we made it clear, and it was a little bit like we have to tell O'Brien that it's going to happen in Vanderhoof. So we went and found a site in Vanderhoof. M4 gladly gave their site, and happy to participate in this. So we want to do the same. Like we just don't want to discourage, because what we have seen in the past is if this is 2 years of commitment, not everybody will jump on it, or not everybody can jump on it. So we want to see, can we fill those 1 year certification, and then talking to Connexus Career Secani, see if they will hire these people and then maybe send them for training, or some trainings are digital option. You can do it online
Right.
while working. So, but it has not been explored in
Sure.
detail, but
Yeah.
that's what we need to do.
But so sort of
Yeah.
a bridging again.
Yeah, so maybe in January
Yeah,
or
yeah.
January intake, or May intake, that's
Yeah.
what we're exploring.
Okay, great. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Good. Anybody else? Thank you, Ash. That was a great presentation, and look forward to the work we have coming up, and rolling
Yes.
up our sleeves and getting to it.
Some gray hairs too, so yeah. Thank you.
Can't get too many more. Okay, moving on to CAO reports. Let's go to 6.1, airport turnpad design and engineering. Kelly, you're going to speak to that. Let's see what mic you have. There we go.
Yes, so as per the section 9.2 and the purchasing and tendering policy, this is just the award to Tetris Tech Canada Incorporated for the lowest bid of $88,734. This information report. Any questions on that?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Do we receive this or anything? Okay. Moving on. I know 6.2, infrastructure upgrades award.
All right. Okay, so this is also a report as per section 9.2 and the procurement or purchasing and tendering policy of 5.16. It is information report indicating the water and sanitary sewer infrastructure upgrades and the awards. First, for the Stewart Street sanitary system at Vancon at $346,581.50, and for the water main upgrades at Clark to FNA at $456,431.72. Any questions on that?
So Franco.
I think Kelly, welcome to the team again. But we probably go over this every year, and it'd be good. I have no idea who FNA is. Not that that's my game, but I'm just wondering if we could do our due diligence and see if they've got WCB and all of these things, because that's a new one. But we do this almost every spring. We come up with there's a new company, and we just want to make sure that we're good, and I
So
hope we are.
Yeah, through you, Chair. There's a rigorous vetting process. So there is a committee that is set up that reviews all awards. And they've gone through all of the criteria of the bid package of the RFP. And you only, if you qualify, you meet the criteria, that's where you will be able to see the prices. If you disqualify, then you wouldn't even make it to the list.
It's good to see that FNA and VanCon are, their bids are pretty close, where, you know, Nappett's way out to lunch, really. So, I mean, back in Counselor Frankel and my consulting days, it was always good to see bids that are close, because then you knew you're in the game. Good to see VanCon.
Vandola Enterprises is always higher than Avis and Mountain. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, moving on then. 6.4, Recreation Avenue Bridge, sorry? 6.3, trenchless sewer inspection and repairs.
Okay, so this one is for recommended that council approve a direct award to the trenchless sewer inspection and repairs through EnviroJet Services Ltd. in the amount of $188,708.03. This is a vendor that we've used consistently, and so they know our systems and are able to repair as they move through.
Second, any discussion? Councillor Bowman.
This company has done this, how many years do we know that every year? Like, for how many years?
A lot. There used to be Northern Lights and then
Oh,
they
okay.
became EnviroJet before last season. So
Okay.
it's been the same company for a long time.
Okay, no problems.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Now 6.4, Recreation Avenue Bridge Compression Seal Expansion Joint Replacement.
Through you, Chair, this is another recommendation that council approve a direct award to for the replacement of the compression seals joints and of the Recreation Avenue Bridge to Yellowhead Road and Bridge, their Vanderhoof company, in the amount of $230,233.05, including all taxes.
So we'd like to move that. Any discussion? Councillor Young?
Just wondering the turn, like the length of time it might take, because we're gonna have to shut that bridge down and take care of that. Does it say in there? I didn't see it.
Well,
Or I guesstimate, maybe. Wrong person to ask.
fourth day in, so
Okay. Never mind.
I can get back that information
It's all good. It's all
through
good.
an email.
Sorry about
That
that.
would be
To the
great.
council.
Do that
That's
follow-up,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
Okay.
Councillor Lozay?
Oh, I was just noticing, and you probably wouldn't have the answer to this, Kelly, but it says that they discovered this last year. And I'm just wondering if that was, if the council was, or if not, if the staff were made aware of that last year. You know?
The only thing I could speak to is that they did some inspections on the work.
Okay.
I think it was identified in the report that there was some inspections done
Okay.
and that they moved forward with the pricing. And that's why it's a direct award request, so that they can go in and complete the work
Okay.
in their specialized area.
Maybe in our budget. That's fine. Thank you.
Did we have some a hand on this side? I thought I saw, no, then we'll go back to Councillor Young.
Just further to Councillor Lozay, isn't this sort of it's kind of a common thing that happens over the lifetime of these bridges, so we have to inspect them regularly. And certain times that, you know, it might be sooner than expected, depending on weather or other conditions, so. Because I know YRB does a lot of this work in our area and
Yeah.
does this.
So there are provincial standards. They would call it a BMI, a bridge index. Essentially, we have to meet a certain requirement of this BMI to ensure the bridge's safety. So this is part of doing that, is through these inspections and then identifying these items and doing immediate reparation to make sure that the safety of the bridge maintains standard.
Thinking of it as new, it's not new.
I
think it's new still.
remember somebody painting graffiti on it when I was in high school, so it's not that Young. I'm not gonna repeat what it was. All in favor? Carried. 6.5, 2026 Public Works New Office Space Budget Amendment.
This is a recommendation that council increase the 2026 Public Works new office space budget to 350,000. It was originally budgeted for 250,000. It's approximately $100,000 increase. We just received our RFP back 3 weeks ago, and because of cost increase for electrical components as well as labor, there's just an increase that we found out when we went out to RFP.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Okay, 6.6, use of Coastal GasLink trailer at Fire Department Training Center, Emergency Operations Center.
And thank you. I'm speaking to that one. So we're asking that the resolution that was passed in September of 2022 be rescinded. This is the Coastal GasLink that was donated and it was supposed to be sold. It's sitting up at the training grounds now. We would like to use that at the training grounds as part of the, we'll move it over to the classroom, and we are redoing the EOC and bringing it up to that area. So the classroom's perfect for that. It's also in a location that's out of the way and not going to be bothered by any train or flood. And instead of spending a whole bunch of money to update all the services at the training center, this trailer actually fits in all that. Gives us a bathroom, washroom, facilities, gives us breakout rooms, and a place that if we are running an EOC that we can actually have little meetings and stuff like that. So we're asking that this trailer, we rescind the first resolution and then bring the trailer over to the fire training grounds and we incorporate it into the EOC.
Somebody want to move that recommendation? Any discussion? Councilor Frankel.
I gotta be clear, what trailer is it? Because we've got 7 other ones up at the airport. And so I just wanted to make sure I know which one it is.
Awesome. This is the medical trailer. So it's got a first aid room on one side. It's got a washer, dryer, and stuff in the center. And then it has a kitchen living room area and then a bathroom bedroom.
Is it one of the 7?
No.
No, this
No.
is.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, where is it?
It's at the training ground.
It's at the
Okay.
training ground.
Okay, way up there. I just never see it when I bike by.
We've hit it behind the trees.
Okay, that's,
Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. 6.7, sewer rates regulation amendment by law 1303. No, that one.
Yep.
That's it.
So this bylaw was amended once before, but one section was left in it in error. So the whole intent of the last bylaw was to increase the rate to $20 per cubic meter. So this bylaw is just to fix it so that we're not charging the same for a service, for the same different for the same service. So it's just deleting section 5.1 in the in the original bylaw.
Recommendation?
Seconder?
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor? Oh, sorry, discussion? None? All in favor? That's carried. 7.1, we have council priorities there to, oh, yes, we had an addition. 6.8, surgeon
Okay.
release.
So this is a late item because the sturgeon release is next Friday. So there's been an issue with insurance this year. I don't know why it just came up. So the idea is because the NWSRI is not a society, for them to get insurance, one of the members would have to put their name personally on the insurance policy, and that would be a liability for them. So since this is kind of, I always thought it was a district event. The idea is to make it an official district event and delegate the NWSRI to organize it every year. So that takes care of that issue of their insurance and liability. The rest of the participants would be giving in their insurance certificates. So this is just to have it under a district umbrella with them, Michelle Roberge and Wayne Selesky still organizing it, because if they didn't organize it, there wouldn't be an event. They would just be released into the water. So the recommendation is that the sturgeon release be adopted as a district of Vanderhoof event and that the NWSRI be delegated the organization of the event every year.
I'll second it.
And sorry, they are good with it. So
Okay.
I checked with them.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, now we have council priorities on the agenda as always. Then we move to correspondence, and we do have 8.1 on the correspondence. I don't know if anybody wants to speak to that. Councilor Lozey?
Okay. To write my thoughts down, so be patient with me. So I'd like to speak to this petition from the Neutrality Committee because there are more than 200 signatures on it, requesting that council adopt a bylaw that prohibits flying of all flags on public property. They believe that this will alleviate any promotion of one group or over another. And I do appreciate the questions that came up within me when I thought about the request made by this group, because it got me digging into our own flag policy. And one of the, and I'm hoping I don't go down a rabbit hole. So the first place I started with was, what is the significance of a flag? And I ended up concluding that a flag fosters a sense of unity among its citizens and encapsulates the shared visions of a nation, a province, a community, and a group. And then the next question I asked myself was, is flying a flag outside a government building an act of public or private expression? And this is what I came up with. These are my thoughts. If it is private expression, then should not all flags be allowed? Section 3.4 of our flag policy specifically states that requests to fly religious flags will be denied, but that arts and cultural celebrations are permitted. So if both constitute personal expression, then limiting the display of one in a non-preferential neutral position should also limit the display of the other. If, however, it is public expression, then flags that are flown on our local government buildings are indeed an endorsement of the beliefs and values of the group, and it is not neutral. Section 3.6 of our flag policy states, however, that it is not an endorsement of a community group by the District of Vanderhoof. So there's a little bit of, in my mind, contradiction there, conflict in the wording, and I'd like to have a look at it. And I'd also like to share some of my personal thoughts. Flying a flag or painting a crosswalk will not bridge the moral disagreement that swirls around this issue. Conversely, I have seen division rise up between groups, which I believe really want the same thing, and that is for all people to know that they are respected, they are valued, and they have a place in our community. I welcome our diversity, and I believe it makes us stronger. And it's not flags that make safe spaces, but people. I would therefore like to make a notice of motion, that we discuss this petition and our flag policy at our next council meeting,
You say upcoming council.
upcoming council meeting.
So does that need a seconder?
No, it's a notice of motion. It comes back to the next one.
Councilor Frankel? Right here.
I'm looking at this in possibly a different way because my name was in the petition and in the letter, which is falsely interpreted by the person that created the petition and potentially everyone else that they talked about that. or talked to about signing their petition. And I think we need to define neutrality, a neutrality committee. I'd love to know what the committee is, who they are, whatever, but inclusiveness and neutrality are not opposite when neutrality is understood as fairness in our community and consistency and equal respect for all participants. And who become stronger when people see themselves reflected in their community, regardless of background, beliefs, culture, and identity. Leadership means supporting policies that encourage belonging and recognition, even when opinions differ in this case. This is the kind of leadership that we should all strive for. So as much as I oppose being named and interpreted in that petition, I think our community has become more inclusive in the use of neutrality, inclusivity are being blended together. And I welcome the discussion, Councillor Lozay, I really do. But anything that we say, and the last time I did this, has been turned against my personal belief to benefit this organization, which I truly despise. And no one's ever contacted me. They've probably been one of the 4 people that have viewed our council meeting and watched it. So it is what it is. And it is a petition. There's numerous names duplicated on there. Probably a majority are from the regional district. So perhaps we move this to regional district. I don't know. Because I don't think the majority of people are from our community. Having said that, they are within the Nechako Valley and we do represent a lot of people. And I do appreciate public participation and respect the civic engagement of this process. So, but inclusive and neutrality are not opposites when neutrality is understood as fairness. So.
Councillor Martins.
Yeah. I certainly wasn't planning. I thought we'd be talking about it too, but I had a couple of thoughts too, just in the last, since I read that. I'd like a little more definition on what neutrality is and this committee and really what they're after, because just in my thought process, when I think of neutrality is being neutral to all the different groups and to support everyone. And that is exactly what we do. But I don't want to mention any names on that petition. I read them all and I know a lot of them as we all do. And I've seen demonstrated by a lot of people on that list that absolutely don't demonstrate that. I mean, a perfect example is a standing at the bridge waving a sign a few years ago that to me is the opposite of neutrality. That's pushing their own agenda 10 times more than lots of other things are. And that's kind of the way, to me, that was not neutrality at all. And yet they're the ones that signed for it. It is what it is, and that's my 2 cents worth. Like I say, I didn't plan that out, and that's just coming off the cuff. Just that's how I feel.
Councillor Palmer.
This discussion
Uh,
should be at the next.
Well, it's on the agenda, so we're
Okay,
having it.
Okay,
No, we've
No,
gone
but-
down a path.
but if
I'm
you start
actually,
discussing changes to the policy and stuff.
we're
it
not
should be-
discussing changes to policy, we're discussing our reaction
Okay,
to this being on the
Okay.
agenda. Somebody's had that chance, so the rest of us will have that.
Okay.
And I
chance
have
too.
the same reaction as Ernest. I need to know what is meant by neutral. I also need to know who this organization is. I can't make up anything until I know what's going on here.
Anybody else? Councillor Young.
Yeah, I wrote some thoughts down, or typed some thoughts down earlier on too, because I was thinking about neutrality and equality. So core definition around neutrality means this: the state does not take a side, favor or disfavor any group. Equality means everyone enjoys the same status, rights, and opportunities before the law. And so we need to focus on neutrality is how a rule is applied, so it should be impartial, right? Equity or equality focus on who is affected and how they are impacted. And I think this is what's led to us creating the type of policies that we have now around the flags, trying to support everyone by sending a message to those who didn't feel supported in the past. Rightly or wrongly, that was, I think, along the lines of where we felt. In Canada, neutrality is a duty placed on the government to remain secular. Equality is a fundamental right guaranteed to individuals under Section 15 of the Charter. So that's one thing that as we go down this path and have the discussion, and I know it's dangerous to keep going there, but I think we have to remember first and foremost that we have to remain secular as we go forward in this, and to make sure that we're thinking about it. Neutrality and equality is two different things. And why we're having that discussion, because in remaining neutral, from what I've been reading and thinking about, it means that we stay in a space or a place in time that we actually wanted to evolve from. There's been things that have happened in our community because of how we, rightly or wrongly, and not just this community, this nation, the world, whatever. These same discussions are being held everywhere right now. And I think we, as humanity, want to evolve to a certain point. And so we have these discussions. But staying neutral, in my mind, means we stay where we were and we need to go forward. So we could continue to talk and have these discussions and learn from one another. I think that's the big key if we go forward, to make sure that we do so with the right tone and the right focus. What are we doing this for? Is it to be right or wrong, or is it just to move our community forward? I think that's what we need to do.
Absolutely. And I think we're at the end here, so I'm just going to wrap up with my thoughts. I was really disappointed to see my name used at the beginning. It was not the intent of the conversation I had. The person they are quoting there also told me in that meeting the difference between Christianity and every other religion is that there's never been a war fought over Christianity. So we know how much this person likes to talk the truth. I can't believe we're going to debate equity, but if this is going to come back, then I would like to request that all duplicate names, including Bruce Thiessen signed it 4 times. So let's get rid of 3 of those to begin with. All duplicate names get removed, and we phone every one of those people and get their address, and we kick out everything that isn't within the district of Van Hoof. Can we take a recess?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, we're back in session and we're on councillor items. So we'll start with Councillor Frankel. You're on.
I've got something. Community forest, we've had a few meetings on community forest. As some of you are aware, under community forest, we're awarded $27,000 to look at wildfire mitigation within the community forest. And so our partner and a local contractor are working on gathering the data for that contract so that we can make sound decisions for our board on how we're going to go and tackle wildfire mitigation up along the ag belt. Yeah. So a side note, also the province is working on the Minister's Practices Advisory Committee. Pretty interesting of what's going on there. I do want to reiterate one point that we're trying to get this for the minister this fall on how they're going to reintroduce fire. Of course, we've had a lot of fire on our land base, so we don't need it to be reintroduced. The caribou's in the same way. But Dr. Lori Daniels from UBC was on one of our last hour sessions, basically saying that when you go to do fire on the land base, everything has to come back in play, including old growth polygons and parks. Because if we're looking at wildfire on the land base, you can't isolate parks. And our example that the mayor uses and that we use in our meetings is back in the day, we created 12% parks in our forest district, the Antiaco, you've heard me say this, Finger Taddock, Kenny Dam and Francois Lake, all for caribou, grizzly bear, archaeological and visual. And that was back in the late 90s. Jump ahead, 2026, every one of those have been burnt. So Mother Nature doesn't care what value you have to manage it for fire. So I thought that was really interesting that now you've got people at a UBC understanding the impacts of fire on the land base. I'll let the mayor talk about NCLGA. Disappointing from its heydays for me. I think I think personally, I think some of the team, I think Gladys did a great job there and what a leader she is. Really appreciate her leadership. But there was 100 people. So the heyday, we had a couple hundred, so. And part of that, I'll let the mayor talk about too, is we had a meeting with Northern Health. So that's it for me. And unless this community forest thing wants to come up now. So, and I talked quickly with the mayor about this. I've talked really quickly with Councillor Vandola about this. There's a need for the BC Community Forest Association to have a northern voice. They have lost that. I think Frank Varga was it at one time, and now somebody else has moved on, and they're looking for that northern voice. I was asked if I would put my name in. I understand where things are at, so I touch bases with Councillor Vandola, and I think we're good. I'd like to seek a letter of support from mayor and council to put my nomination for a 2-year term for the BC Community Forest.
Somebody like to move that we nominate Councillor Franco? Seconder? Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Councillor Lozay.
May 13th, just attended the Confor meeting. It was nice to see that they achieved 100% of their 5-year cut. They said that civil culture planting started last week and they're going to do some trials with Ponderosa pine and white pine. May 19th, I attended a library board meeting and really to report there. They're just looking forward to this new agreement. It's made it a lot smoother for them and they appreciate that. So.
Councillor Young.
Yeah, I attended the Confer as well. And one thing that I've noticed the last few meetings attending Confer, I really like how we're continually talking about innovative practices and different things. And I think that's, I don't want to say it's a far cry from where we started, but I've noticed the evolution and it's interesting and it's a little bit exciting to see that we're trying to push to be at the forefront of some of that tech. So that's really good to see because again, you know, as a community force, we should be at the front of that and not at the tail end. So it's good to see some of those things going on. It's been pointed out to me recently, I haven't seen it myself, but a little bit of activity up at the proposed site for our new clinic or primary care facility. So that's exciting to see. Nothing official has been stated. And I know I have a meeting coming up in probably another 3 weeks around that, but I want to poke around and find out more, but we're just, you know, we're always anticipating something. So that's a positive step. Not much else other than I know I met with a few members a couple of times the last 2 weeks from the Chaco Valley Historical Society. I keep getting meetings booked on the same night as theirs, so they met with me afterwards and then followed up with another, some more things they want to do in the museum during the year. And there's a lot of things going on, and then also to do with what's coming up with the centennial. So good to see the energy level there, and there'll be some exciting things happening. So that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you. Councillor Vandola.
Yeah, thanks. Like everyone else, I attended the Community Forest Board meeting and yeah, really great to see that they've achieved their 5-year cut. Fantastic. And they've got, you know, a number of blocks already planned for commercial thinning. So that's, as Councillor Young spoke, we're doing some innovative practices on the community forest. Really good to see that in the process of planting 425,000 seedlings. So we're meeting our fiduciary obligations on putting trees back in the ground, and the exciting piece is that we're planting, you know, about 60% pine, 30% spruce, and a myriad of other species, namely 3% Douglas fir, which is kind of matches the ecology of the area, so it needs to go back. So that was fantastic to see, and really glad that our industry partner is doing a good job with that. Also, kind of met with BC Wildfire Service, just talking about operations up at the base there and how they can help us with things that we're looking at towards at the airport. And so those discussions went well. As Councillor Frankel talked about, we had our industry partner working with our consultant on our wildfire risk reduction kind of survey and design. One of the things that Councillor Franklin and I discussed today was that we got some maps on the design. Not really sure if that's the appropriate kind of plot design. Be nice to have industry partner work with the contractor, because our local contractor that's going to be doing the work has extensive experience in survey design and carrying out the plot work. And so it'd be nice to have them work together to come up with a little more cohesive plan there. So that's kind of what I'd like to see happen there. And other than that, that's it for me.
Councillor Bowman.
So I attended the May meeting of the Vanderhoof Chamber of Commerce, and they're just an exciting group to be a member of right now. Lots of people show up at every meeting, lots of ideas passed along, and they've got a lot of plans for this year in the 100 centennial. I've noticed around town, I have to explain to people that the July 4th and 5th, people are telling me it's just a glorified music concert. There's no history, and I'm trying to explain to everyone the library has had an event every single month for the entire year. The fairgrounds have asked to be part of it. The air show is part of it. The chamber has lots going on. So the only thing I'm trying to explain to people that July 4th and 5th is the party. That's the party day. When we couldn't have a party on February 26th, we'd all freeze. No, and I don't think Tom Cochrane would come if we tried to do that. So yeah, that's the party day. Then I did make it in time to our Public Works barbecue to get one hamburger in. So congratulations to the Public Works and all of the work that they've been doing for our town throughout the year. I also attended the COMFOR meeting. I'm sure everyone's covered that one enough. I met with the Nechaka Valley Historical Society last week as well to talk about, I'm emceeing that day, and they wanted to put together exactly what they were doing for that day. So I met with them for an hour or so, and we got a really good plan of attack for that day as well. And then I whipped over to Diadem, and tomorrow during our centennial meeting, I should have a good rough draft of our program. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councillor Martins.
Good, thanks. Yeah, kind of the same, repeating some of the same things. Attended the COMFOR board meeting, which was really good. I made it to Public Works as well, Tom. That was a good little visit over there as well. And other than that, the biggest thing I've been working on is, I would say it kind of the same every time, is for the centennial party, and I think we're moving along pretty good. Some changes happening daily as far as checking things off the list, and we're not very far away now. So I think we got a good group working, and everybody's doing their part, and it'll come together good. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Yes, it was a busy week. Well, I guess the week before we had the COMFOR meeting, and then the Public Works barbecue. It was great to see so many of you managed to make it over there. It's really good to be there and show that we really appreciate them and what they do. Northern Medical Programs Trust had a 7 o'clock meeting on Wednesday, which is a little hard to make it into Prince George, but got there in time. The trust is up to 15 million now, which is really amazing and continues to grow. Had a really good presentation with some of the people within the program that are supported by the trust, and good to see a good uptake. And they do get a reasonable return of practitioners wherever they are in the medical field. It's more than just doctors now that do stay in the north and then continue to stay here going on, right? It's not just that first job they get. Northern Health did a presentation / workshop, and I did share one of the slides. I've asked them to provide the slide deck, and we would receive that in camera. They didn't want it to be public. So I will follow up with them on that and make sure that we get that slide deck. There was a lot of interesting information there. My pictures on my phone weren't that great, so I won't bother sharing that out. We'll try and get the main thing. Was much better after last year. I don't know if anybody attended their little session last year apart from me. I gave them the feedback that this wasn't cutting it. They've done the same thing year after year after year with no progress report, no anything. So it was really good to see them take that feedback and to change it up and bring something useful back to us. NCLGA, Councillor Franco spoke to this. They're in trouble. They need a rebuild. It just isn't. People obviously aren't seeing value and voting with their feet, not being there. Because I mean, when it's in Prince George, that should be the most attended conference that they have, right? We're not in Fort Nelson. We're not in Prince Rupert. So people, they should be hopefully getting that message and rebuilding it, and people saying seeing the worth. And people I talk to, nobody has issues paying their dues. Nobody has issues with that. It's just what are they giving back, and what's the benefit at the conference? And I think I was talking even with one of the presenters in the breakout groups. He's like, why am I presenting? Why don't you bring an expert in to talk to it? Anybody can talk to me anytime, known throughout the NCLGA area. They can pick up the phone. Like, they don't actually need to see me in a thing. I was in another group, there were 7 people in this breakout group, and the presenters kind of choked, right? So exactly, they're giving up their day to come and do this, and then people aren't there in attendance. So anyways, a bit of doom and gloom there. I thought we had a good meeting with Northern Health, discussing not only what is that long-term hospital replacement, but looking at what are the needs within the hospital now. And good to see that will be underway, and really look at that, and what do they need to change, and what services do they need to provide in areas like Vanderhoof that is a referral hub for the region, right? And how we can improve that health services there. On that note, on Wednesday, I'm going to a morning session on Northern Health Strategic Plan. But in the evening, there's a public session. So anybody ever able to attend, I think it'd be good to give them the feedback and spread it within your network. So it'd be good to be there this coming Wednesday. There's an RT community leaders meeting coming up this Wednesday. You guys able to be on that? I'm triple booked. So it'd be great as long as somebody's there. And usually I get the slide deck from Amon afterwards, so I'll just review that afterwards. It will be. Yeah. On Wednesday too, I'm going to RCMP Volunteer Appreciation Luncheon, where they basically have the Crime Watch crew out to say thank you. So I'll be there too to pass that message on as well. Friday, we have the RDBN protocol agreement, and that's an RDBN thing, but I bring it up here because I'm the RDBN rep. So good to see that we're having a protocol agreement with SICAs, and hopefully we can move the working between those groups there as well. Supposed to be a Blackwater site visit on Monday that I'm going to, but it's getting less and less people all the time. So I wonder when they're going to pull the plug, but we'll see where that goes. WEI is coming up as well. I mentioned Northern Health, and everybody knows the sturgeon release is on June 5th on the Friday. Great to be there and see all that go down. Then on the Wednesday afterwards, I won't think about what date that is. BC Hydro do have the 10th. BC Hydro have a presentation in the evening. We should make sure that everybody's aware of where that is on their calendars as they come through. And we should maybe inform them that it's now the Vanderhoof Community Centre, not the Integris Community Centre. And that's a long blast, but that's it for me. So with that, we will move on to adjournment.